Ladies and gentlemen, today we confront a matter both ancient and ever-present, the access by which forces of darkness, those unseen, operate within the lives of the unaware. In the busyness of our days as we go about our work and our routines, it is easy to dismiss these subtle yet significant influences. But make no mistake, there are ways, subtle and often disguised, by which these dark forces can make their way into our hearts, our minds, and our lives. Let us now, with clear eyes and a sober mind, consider how these forces may find their access. Doubt, in its most innocuous form, may appear as a mere whisper, a fleeting thought that questions the fabric of our reality. But do not be deceived by its seeming insignificance, for it is within these quiet moments of uncertainty that the seeds of a much deeper erosion are sown. Doubt is not merely a passing thought. It is an invitation to question everything. Even that which you once held with the utmost certainty. It begins as a small crack in the foundation, but left unchecked, it grows into a gaping chasm that threatens to swallow all that you are and all that you hold dear. Doubt often masquerades as intellectual curiosity. It seems harmless at first, even virtuous, a desire to understand more, to search for deeper truths. But there is a subtle distinction between the humble seeking of wisdom and the corrosive seed of doubt. The one leads to growth, while the other seeks to undo the very essence of trust and belief. It feeds off your insecurities, magnifying them until they become the lens through which you see the world. Doubt whispers that your beliefs are baseless, your convictions fragile, and that perhaps there is no true meaning to life at all. When doubt begins to take hold of your thoughts, it doesn't do so with grand gestures or sudden, dramatic shifts. It works in the quiet moments, when you find yourself alone, pondering a question without resolution. It is in the moments when you begin to question the goodness of others. Was that kindness genuine, or was there some hidden agenda behind it? Did you truly experience love, or was it just a fleeting feeling that has now passed? And perhaps most insidiously, it raises questions about your own worth, your own place in the world. What if everything you've believed about yourself is nothing but a comforting illusion? What if there is no true purpose to your existence? Once doubt is allowed to seep in, it refuses to be easily dismissed. It becomes the silent companion that follows you, lurking in the corners of your mind. The more you entertain these thoughts, the stronger they grow. You begin to doubt not only the world around you, but also the very essence of your being. You question the validity of your actions, the truth of your words, and the sincerity of your emotions. The more doubt takes root, the more it clouds your judgment and distorts your perception of reality. And it is not simply the doubt of the world or of others that creates destruction. It is the doubt that permeates your faith. For many, faith is the bedrock upon which life is built. It is the foundation that provides direction, purpose, and meaning. When that foundation is shaken, the entire structure threatens to collapse. Doubt challenges the very beliefs that give life its sense of order and balance. It begins with questions. Questions about the nature of God, about the goodness of creation, about the meaning of suffering. But these questions, while appearing innocuous, can erode your trust in the divine, replacing it with an overwhelming sense of confusion and disillusionment. It is important to understand that doubt, in and of itself, is not inherently evil. There are times when doubt can serve as a stepping stone towards greater clarity and understanding. It can challenge you to deepen your convictions, to examine your beliefs more closely, and to refine your understanding of the world. But the danger lies in how doubt is handled. When doubt is embraced without question, When it is allowed to fester and grow unchecked, it can become a weapon of destruction. It can turn your search for truth into a search for answers that may not even exist, leaving you in a perpetual state of uncertainty and fear. The heart of doubt is the desire for control. Doubt seeks to make you the master of your own understanding, to place you in the position of judge and jury over all things. It says you must understand everything. You must have an answer for every question. And when you are unable to find those answers, doubt grows stronger, feeding on your sense of inadequacy and helplessness. It tells you that if you cannot understand the mysteries of life, then those mysteries must not be worth understanding. It is a trap, a false promise that leads to confusion and despair. The most insidious aspect of doubt is that it often wears the mask of wisdom. It does not come crashing into your life with loud, overwhelming force, but rather slips in quietly, like a shadow that falls over your thoughts. It calls itself reason. It calls itself logic. It calls itself enlightened. It invites you to question everything, to scrutinize every belief, every conviction, and every experience. Now, as you begin to entertain these questions, doubt burrows deeper into your heart, convincing you that certainty is an illusion, that all things are in flux, and that nothing can be trusted. What makes doubt so dangerous is not simply its ability to undermine your beliefs, but its capacity to create a deep and gnawing sense of emptiness. It creates a vacuum within your soul, a space where once there was trust, where once there was certainty, and in that void something else may enter: fear, despair, confusion. These are the forces that thrive in the absence of trust and faith. When doubt is allowed to reign unchecked, it opens the door to these darker forces, which pull you deeper into isolation and desolation. And desolation represents the spirit of diversity, diversity and desolation. And there are many ways in which doubt can manifest itself in your life. It can arise from personal experiences that shake your belief in the world and others. Perhaps you have suffered a great loss or witnessed an injustice that challenges your understanding of the world. Perhaps you have been betrayed by someone you trusted, and now doubt clouds your ability to trust again. These experiences can create fertile ground for doubt to trust again. These experiences can create fertile ground for doubt to trust again. But even in the midst of these trials, it is important to recognize that doubt is not the only response. It may feel natural to question everything in the wake of pain, but it is possible to hold on to faith even in the midst of uncertainty. Doubt can also arise from external influences, the voices of others who question your beliefs, who challenge your faith, or who mock your convictions. These voices can be powerful, especially when they come from people you respect or admire. Their words can plant seeds of doubt in your heart, making you wonder if you have been misled all along. But it is essential to remember that the strength of your belief does not depend on the opinions of others. The truth of who you are and the purpose of your life is not determined by the doubts of those around you, but by the deep inner conviction that resides within you. Doubt can even creep in when you are least expecting it, when you are surrounded by comfort, success, and stability. It whispers to you in moments of quiet reflection, in the spaces between tasks. When your mind is free to wander, it asks, is this all there is? Is this truly the life you want to live? And in these moments of questioning, doubt can begin to unravel your sense of purpose, leading you to seek meaning in all the wrong places. The key to combating doubt is not to ignore it or suppress it, but to face it with courage and clarity. Doubt may come, but it does not need to rule. The answer is not in avoiding questions, but in finding the strength to continue seeking truth, even in the midst of uncertainty. Desire is a powerful force that shapes much of our lives. It is the fuel that drives our actions, the motivation behind our aspirations, and the longing that pushes us to seek more. But there is a darker side to desire, one that can subtly lead us astray and open the door to forces that manipulate and control. Desire, when unchecked or misdirected, becomes a powerful tool for darkness, distorting our perceptions and pulling us away from our true selves. At the heart of desire is the pursuit of fulfillment. We are constantly seeking to satisfy our needs, our wants, and our longings. Whether it is the desire for love, or success, for material possessions, or for security, these longings drive us to reach for something beyond our grasp. In and of itself, desire is not evil. It is natural and inherent in the human experience. But when desires become self-centered, driven only by personal gratification or the need to fill a void, they begin to shape who we are in unhealthy ways. One of the most insidious aspects of desire is its ability to grow and evolve. What begins as a simple wish for something good can quickly spiral into an obsessive craving. The more we indulge in a particular desire, the more it takes root in our hearts, growing stronger and more consuming with each passing day. What was once a desire for something small and innocent, a fleeting pleasure, a passing comfort, can turn into an all-encompassing need, an obsession that leaves us blind to the bigger picture of life. When desire becomes a driving force in our lives, it can cause us to lose sight of our true purpose. We begin to live in pursuit of the next fix, the next achievement, the next pleasure, constantly seeking to satisfy our cravings without ever feeling truly fulfilled. This relentless pursuit of more pulls us further from peace and contentment, can be for the short moments when it pleases, like a ray of sunshine. Rather than finding satisfaction in what we have, we are continually looking for the next thing that will complete us, and in doing so, we never truly experience the joy that comes from living fully in the present. Desire, when left unchecked, distorts our priorities. We begin to place more value on things that are fleeting and temporary than on the things that truly matter. We chase after material possessions, power, or status, believing that these external markers of success will bring us happiness. But the happiness they provide is only temporary, a fleeting moment of pleasure that fades as quickly as it arrives. And as this cycle continues, we find ourselves constantly running, never truly arriving at the place of fulfillment. This distortion of desire can lead us down a dangerous path, one that feeds into the forces that seek to control us. The pursuit of unchecked desires can lead to habits and addictions that enslave us, making us prisoners of our own cravings. Whether it is addiction to substances, to technology, or to unhealthy relationships, these desires pull us further from freedom and closer to bondage. We become slaves to our cravings, chasing after the next high, the next fix, without ever realizing that we have lost our sense of agency and self-control. The danger of desire lies not just in what it leads us to do, but in what it causes us to become. When we give in to our desires without restraint, we begin to lose touch with who we truly are. We become consumed by the very things that we once thought would bring us happiness. The desire for wealth, for power, for fame. These things may promise fulfillment, but they only leave us empty, grasping for something more, something that will never truly satisfy. And in the pursuit of these desires, we lose sight of our true selves, of the person we are meant to be. There is also a deep spiritual danger in the unchecked pursuit of desire. When we are consumed by our cravings, we lose our connection to higher truths and values. We begin to place our trust in things that are temporary and fleeting, rather than in the deeper, more lasting aspects of life. We begin to believe that our worth is tied to what we have, to what we achieve, or to how others perceive us. We forget that our true value comes from within, from our connection to something greater than ourselves. Desire, when properly directed, can lead to growth and fulfillment. It can inspire us to pursue meaningful goals, to develop our talents, and to seek out relationships that bring us joy. But when desire becomes a force that is solely focused on personal gratification, it pulls us away from our higher purpose and leads us into the trap of endless craving to live a life of peace and contentment. We must learn to recognize when our desires have begun to control us and to reorient them toward that which is good, true, and lasting. The influence of others can often shape the course of our lives in ways that we fail to fully recognize. We live in a world where connections are not just a part of life, they are life itself. We are shaped by those around us, by the people we associate with, by the voices we listen to, and by the perspectives we adopt. The people we surround ourselves with have an immense impact on how we view ourselves, how we think, and how we act. Their influence can either guide us toward greater truths and deeper understandings, or lead us into the darkness of confusion, compromise, and disillusionment. The power of influence is most potent when we allow others to dictate how we should think, feel, or behave. We are social creatures, designed to connect and relate, and in this there lies both a great blessing and a potential danger. Human beings seek validation, approval, and acceptance. We want to belong, to fit in, and to be understood. But the desire for connection can make us vulnerable to the influence of those who do not have our best interests at heart, or who themselves are lost in their own misguided pursuits. This influence is often subtle. It does not appear as an overt command, nor does it demand immediate submission. Instead, it creeps into our lives in small doses, through conversations, shared experiences, and cultural norms. A single word, a passing remark, a seemingly harmless comment can plant a seed that begins to grow into a belief, a conviction, or a way of life that is not truly our own. We begin to adjust our thinking, our actions, and even our values to fit the mold that others have set for us, whether or not it aligns with who we are or what we believe. There are many ways in which the influence of others manifests. One of the most powerful is through the opinions and judgments of those closest to us, our family, our friends, and our peers. We tend to listen to these voices more than we do to any other, for they are the voices of those we trust, those whose approval we seek. When those we care about express their beliefs or pass judgment on our actions, their words often carry more weight than they should. If those closest to us encourage us toward selfishness, toward indulgence, or toward compromise, we may begin to question whether we are wrong to pursue a different path. Their influence can cloud our judgment, make us doubt ourselves, and steer us away from the values and principles that once seemed so clear. Moreover, the influence of others is not confined to those we know personally. The media, entertainment, and even the wider culture exert their own form of influence over us. We are bombarded with messages every day, messages about what we should value, how we should behave, what we should desire. These messages often tell us that happiness is found in material wealth, in pleasure, in fame, or in power. They tell us that success is measured by what we own, what we can achieve, or how others perceive us. These external forces often hold up a distorted vision of life, one that is detached from deeper meaning and truth. And when we internalize these messages, we begin to live in pursuit of something that is not truly fulfilling. We may begin to chase after things that do not bring us peace or joy, but rather perpetuate a cycle of discontent and emptiness. Another form of influence is that of authority. Whether it is a teacher, a mentor, or a leader. While many authority figures are meant to guide and support, there is a danger when these figures abuse their influence or when their guidance leads us away from the truth. A teacher may present ideas that conflict with our core beliefs, or a leader may ask us to compromise our integrity in the name of expediency. When we place too much trust in these authorities, we risk losing our own sense of autonomy and responsibility. We begin to defer to their judgment rather than critically examining the ideas they present, and in doing so, we surrender our ability to discern right from wrong for ourselves. Even the simple act of seeking approval from others can lead us astray. It is natural to want validation, to seek approval from the people around us. But when this need for approval becomes all-consuming, it can lead us to make choices that are not aligned with our true selves. We may begin to compromise our values, sacrificing what we know to be right in order to please others. We may adopt beliefs or behaviors that are not our own, simply to fit in or to gain acceptance. In this way, we lose our sense of identity, allowing the influence of others to shape who we are, rather than choosing to live in accordance with our own principles. The influence of others is particularly dangerous when it encourages us to abandon the pursuit of truth. In a world where relativism is often valued over conviction, it can be tempting to go along with the prevailing wisdom, even if it conflicts with what we know to be true. The pressure to conform to societal norms, to embrace popular ideas, or to accept cultural trends can push us further away from the things that are truly important. We may begin to doubt our own beliefs, questioning whether they are out of touch with the times or whether they are simply the result of outdated thinking. In this way, we allow ourselves to be swept along by the current of public opinion, losing sight of the moral and spiritual truths that ground us. It is also important to recognize that not all influence is malicious or harmful. In fact, much of the influence we encounter comes from those who genuinely care for us, who wish to see us thrive. However, even well-intentioned guidance can sometimes lead us astray if it is not grounded in truth. It is easy to be swayed by the desires and aspirations of others, to take their advice and mold our lives according to their expectations. But we must be careful not to lose sight of our own path in the process. We must learn to listen to the voice within us, to hold fast to the convictions that resonate with our hearts, and to trust our own judgment. Key to navigating the influence of others lies in discernment. We must learn to recognize when the influence of others is guiding us toward truth and when it is pulling us away from it. This requires self-awareness, wisdom, and the courage to stand firm in our beliefs, even when it is difficult. It also requires humility, the ability to accept guidance and criticism from others when it is constructive and helpful, but the strength to reject ideas that do not align with our deepest values. In this way, we can be influenced by others without losing our sense of self, our sense of purpose, or our connection to truth. This content is a powerful emotion, one that can subtly take root in the heart and slowly poison the soul. It often begins as a simple dissatisfaction with the present, a feeling that something is missing, that life could be better, or that circumstances are not as they should be. This discontent, though it may seem like a harmless or even understandable feeling, can grow into something much more dangerous. It can distort your view of the world, feed bitterness, and open the door to forces that thrive on negativity and despair. At its core, Discontent arises from a gap between what we have and what we think we deserve or what we desire. It is the longing for something better, something more fulfilling, something different from what is currently within our grasp. The feeling of discontent often accompanies the thought that life has somehow fallen short of our expectations, that we are owed something more than what we've been given. Whether this stems from comparing ourselves to others or from the belief that happiness and fulfillment are just beyond our reach, the emotion itself begins to shape how we experience the world around us. One of the most dangerous aspects of discontent is how it clouds our judgment and shifts our focus. When we become fixated on what we do not have or what we feel is lacking, we begin to lose sight of the blessings and opportunities already in our lives. Instead of appreciating what we have, we grow resentful of it, convinced that it is inadequate, insufficient, or somehow unfair. This resentment, if allowed to fester, breeds bitterness. We begin to view our circumstances with a sense of entitlement, believing that we are somehow wrong, overlooked. This attitude creates a sense of dissatisfaction, not only with the external world, but also with ourselves. We start to question our worth, our value, and our place in the grand scheme of things, further deepening the sense of discontent that has taken hold of our hearts. Discontent also breeds a sense of restlessness. When we are dissatisfied with our current situation, we constantly yearn for change, for something different, for something better. This desire for change can lead us to make impulsive decisions or to chase after fleeting pleasures in an attempt to fill the emptiness we feel. But these external solutions rarely address the root cause of discontent: a new job, a different relationship, a bigger house, or more possessions. None of these things can bring lasting peace if the discontent within is not addressed. The more we chase after these temporary fixes, the more we are led away from true fulfillment. We may find ourselves perpetually dissatisfied, constantly searching for the next thing that will finally make us happy, but never truly finding it. At the same time, discontent also causes us to overlook the good in our lives. We become so consumed with what we do not have that we fail to see the abundance of blessings already before us: the beauty of a quiet evening, the warmth of a shared meal, the love of family and friends. All of these things may be overshadowed by the weight of our desires for something else. The more we focus on what is missing, the less we are able to appreciate the present moment, and this steals our joy and peace. We find ourselves stuck in a cycle of wanting more, never satisfied with what we already have. The roots of discontent often lie in comparison. We live in a world where we are constantly comparing ourselves to others. Social media, advertising, and even the conversations we have with friends and family all contribute to this culture of comparison. We look at others and see their successes, their positions, their happiness, and we begin to believe that we are somehow falling short. This comparison leads to a sense of inadequacy and frustration. We feel that we should be further along in life, that we should have what others have, or that we deserve the same opportunities and rewards that others seem to effortlessly enjoy. But this mindset is not only misleading, it is dangerous. When we compare ourselves to others, we ignore the unique path we are meant to follow, and instead we adopt a false narrative of competition and scarcity. This belief in scarcity, the idea that there is not enough for everyone, only deepens our discontent and fosters a sense of jealousy and dissatisfaction. Discontent also grows in environments where gratitude is absent. When we fail to cultivate a spirit of gratitude, when we neglect to recognize the small joys and blessings that come our way, we open the door for discontent to take hold. Gratitude is the antidote to dissatisfaction. When we learn to appreciate the present moment, to give thanks for the things we already have. We create space for contentment and peace to settle in our heart. Discontent thrives in the absence of gratitude, because it is fueled by the idea that what we have is never enough. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, allowing us to see the abundance around us. The consequences of discontent are far-reaching. It can lead to a sense of isolation, as we become fixated on our own desires and frustrations, unable to connect with others who might offer comfort or support. It can foster a spirit of competition and comparison, eroding our sense of self-worth and encouraging unhealthy behavior. It can cause us to make decisions that are not in line with our true values, chasing after fleeting pleasures that ultimately leave us empty. And, perhaps most significantly, discontent can make it impossible to find peace or joy. The cycle of desire and dissatisfaction becomes endless, and no matter what we achieve or acquire, we are left feeling unfulfilled. The antidote to discontent is not simply to suppress our desires or to pretend that everything is perfect. Rather, it is to learn to appreciate the blessings that we have, to cultivate gratitude even in the face of difficulty, and to recognize that true fulfillment does not come from external circumstances, but from within. Contentment is a state of being, not a goal to be achieved or a possession to be acquired. When we learn to accept and appreciate our present circumstances, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction that is not dependent on the ever-shifting conditions of life.